how to act when a woman lgnores you. Destroy her ego. Stoicism. What if I told you that the most powerful response to being ignored isn't anger, manipulation, or desperation, but complete inner peace? Today, we're diving deep into ancient Stoic wisdom that will transform how you handle rejection and build unshakable confidence. By the end of this video, you'll understand why the strongest people don't try to destroy anyone's ego. They master their own. Quick shots of key segments. Text overlay. Ancient philosophy, modern problems. Let's be honest, we've all been there. You text someone, call someone, or try to connect with someone you care about, and they just ignore you. It stings. It hurts your pride. And your first instinct might be to do something to get their attention, even if it's negative attention. But what if I told you that the ancient Stoics, philosophers who faced actual life or death situations, had a completely different approach? One that not only protects your dignity, but actually makes you more attractive and confident in the long run? And today we're going on a journey through 2,000 years of wisdom to discover how to respond to being ignored in a way that builds your character rather than destroying someone else's. Part 1. The Stoic Foundation. Chapter 1. Understanding what you can and cannot control. The foundation of Stoicism rests on one simple but profound principle, the dichotomy of control. Marcus Aurelius, literally the most powerful man in the ancient world, wrote in his personal journal, what we now call Meditations, about this very concept. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. When someone ignores you, here's what's happening. What you cannot control. Their response or lack thereof, their feelings toward you. Their reasons for ignoring you, how they perceive you, their communication style. What you can control. Your reaction to being ignored, your emotional response, your next actions, your personal growth, your self-respect. Let me share something personal. 3 years ago, I was completely infatuated with someone who would respond to my messages. Sporadically, sometimes ignore me for days. I spent hours analyzing every interaction, crafting the perfect follow-up message. And honestly, I was miserable. Then I discovered Marcus Aurelius's writings and everything changed. Not because I learned some manipulation tactic, but because I learned something far more powerful. Self-mastery. Chapter 2. Why we feel hurt when ignored. Before we dive into the Stoic response, let's understand why being ignored hurts so much. It's not just about that one person. It triggers something deeper. From an evolutionary perspective, social rejection was literally life-threatening for our ancestors. Being cast out from the tribe meant death. So our brains are wired to treat social rejection as a physical threat. But here's what Epictetus teaches us. It's not what others do or say that harms us, but our opinion of what they do or say. The pain you feel isn't coming from their silence. It's coming from the story you're telling yourself about their silence. Part 2. The Wrong Approaches. Chapter 3. Why destroying their ego backfires. Now let's address the elephant in the room. You might have clicked on this video because you saw something about destroying someone's ego in the title. I want to be completely honest with you. That approach is not just wrong. It's counterproductive. Here's why trying to hurt someone who ignored you always backfires. 1. It gives away your power. When you focus on hurting someone else, you're essentially saying that your happiness depends on their reaction. That's the opposite of Stoic strength. 2. It damages your character. Seneca wrote, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end." When you try to destroy someone's ego, you're destroying something in yourself too. 3. It rarely works. Most people can sense manipulation and game playing from a mile away. It pushes them further away, not closer. 4. It attracts the wrong energy. The universe has a way of returning the energy you put out. Send out manipulation and destruction, and that's what comes back to you. Chapter 4. Other common mistakes. Let's go through some other common responses that the Stoics would definitely not approve of. The double text spiral. Hey, did you get my message? Hello? I know you're active on Instagram. This screams insecurity and pushes people away. The guilt trip. I guess I'm not important enough for a response. Emotional manipulation never leads to genuine connection. The ultimatum. If you don't respond, we're done. You're basically asking someone to choose between their autonomy and your ego. Guess which one they'll pick? The social media stalking. Checking their activity obsessively while they ignore you is self-torture. All of these approaches have one thing in common. They focus on external validation rather than internal strength. Part 3. The Stoic Response Framework. Chapter 5. The Power of Dignified Silence. Marcus Aurelius faced senators who plotted against him, generals who questioned his authority, and citizens who criticized his decisions. You know what he didn't do? Chase after their approval or try to force a response. The first Stoic principle when someone ignores you is this: match their energy with dignity. Here's what this looks like in practice. Step 1. Acknowledge the reality. They're not responding. That's a fact. Don't create stories about why. Step 2. Honor your initial attempt. You reached out genuinely. That was the right thing to do. You have nothing to be ashamed of. Step 3. Step back with grace. Give them space. Not as a punishment or manipulation tactic, but because you respect both their autonomy and your own dignity. Instead of, why aren't you responding to me? Try complete dignified silence. This isn't passive-aggressive silence. This is the silence of someone who has better things to do than chase people, who don't prioritize them. Chapter 6. Redirecting your energy. Epictetus was born a slave but became one of the most respected philosophers in Rome. You know how? He focused entirely on what he could control. His mind, his character, his responses. When someone ignores you, you have a choice. You can waste your energy on them, or you can invest it in yourself. The Stoics always chose self-investment. The Stoic energy redirection method. 1. Physical excellence. Channel that emotional energy into your body. Hit the gym, go for a run, practice yoga. Marcus Aurelius was a warrior emperor who understood that physical strength supports mental strength. 2. Intellectual growth. Read books, learn new skills, engage in meaningful conversations with people who value your presence. Seneca spent his time writing letters that we still read, 2,000 years later. 3. Social investment. Instead of chasing one person who ignores you, nurture relationships with people who genuinely care about you. Quality over quantity always. 4. Creative expression. Write, paint, build, create something. Channel your emotions into something productive and beautiful. Remember that situation I mentioned earlier? Instead of continuing to chase someone who clearly wasn't interested, I started learning Spanish, joined a hiking group, and began writing. 6 months later, I was a completely different person. More confident, more interesting, and ironically, more attractive to others. The person who used to ignore me, they eventually reached out, but by then, I had grown beyond needing their validation. Chapter 7. The Attraction of Non-Attachment. Here's something fascinating that the Stoics understood. The less you need something, the more likely you are to get it. But, and this is crucial, by the time you truly don't need it, you might not want it anymore. This isn't about playing hard to get or using reverse psychology. This is about genuine self-sufficiency and inner peace. The paradox of Stoic attraction: when you stop chasing, you become chase-worthy. When you stop needing validation, you become validating to be around. When you stop trying to impress, you become impressive. Epictetus: wealth consists in not having great possessions, but in having few wants. This applies to relationships too. Emotional wealth consists not in having someone's constant attention, but in needing it less. Part 4. Practical Stoic Strategies. Chapter 8. The Daily Practices. Philosophy without practice is just intellectual entertainment. Here are daily Stoic practices that will build your resilience to being ignored or rejected. Morning meditation, 5 minutes. Start each day with this reflection. Today, I may encounter people who don't respond to me, appreciate me, or understand me. This is their choice and their right. My worth is not determined by their response. Evening review, 10 minutes. Before bed, ask yourself, did I act with dignity today? Did I try to control things outside my influence? What did I learn about myself? How can I be better tomorrow? The view from above. Marcus Aurelius regularly practiced imagining his problems from a cosmic perspective. When someone ignores your text, zoom out. In 100 years, will this matter? In 10 years? In 1 year? This isn't about minimizing your feelings, but about maintaining perspective. Negative visualization. Imagine losing the people you care about. This isn't morbid. It's about appreciating what you have while you have it, and preparing mentally for loss so it doesn't devastate you. Chapter 9. Communication that commands respect. The Stoics were master communicators because they spoke from a place of inner strength, not neediness. Here's how to communicate in a way that naturally commands respect. The one-message rule. Send one thoughtful message. If they don't respond, that's your answer. Don't send follow-ups. Don't ask if they got it. Don't make excuses for reaching out again. Quality over quantity. When you do communicate, make it count. Instead of, hey, what's up? Try something that shows you value both your time and theirs. Share something genuinely interesting. Ask a thoughtful question. Reference a shared experience meaningfully. The Stoic confidence formula. Before you communicate with anyone, ask yourself, am I communicating from a place of strength or neediness? Would I send this message if I already felt completely fulfilled? Does this add value to both our lives? Needy. I hope I'm not bothering you, but I was wondering if maybe you wanted to hang out sometime. If you're not too busy. Stoic. I'm going to that art exhibit we talked about this Saturday. You're welcome to join if you're interested. The difference? The second option doesn't require a specific response to maintain the sender's dignity. Chapter 10. Building Anti-Fragile Confidence. Nassim Taleb wrote about anti-fragility, the quality of getting stronger from stress rather than just surviving it. The Stoics were anti-fragile 2,000 years before we had a word for it. Every time someone ignores you, you have an opportunity to become more anti-fragile. Here's how. Reframe rejection as redirection. Maybe they're not ignoring you out of malice. Maybe they're going through something difficult, genuinely busy with important matters, not in a place to give quality attention, saving you from a connection that wouldn't serve either of you. Build multiple pillars of self-worth. Never let your entire sense of worth depend on one person's response. Build multiple sources of fulfillment. Your relationship with yourself, your work or creative pursuits, your friendships and family connections, your contribution to something larger than yourself, your personal growth and learning. The Stoic success metric. Instead of measuring success by external responses, measure it by internal growth. Did you act according to your values? Are you becoming who you want to be? Are you treating yourself and others with respect? Are you focusing on what you can control? Part 5, Advanced Stoic Concepts. Chapter 11, When to Re-engage, if ever. This is the question everyone asks. Okay, I've been dignified and patient. Now what? Do I ever reach out again? The Stoic answer is nuanced. Here are the guidelines. Re-engage if significant time has passed, weeks or months, not days. You're reaching out from genuine care, not neediness. You have something meaningful to share or offer. You can handle any response or lack thereof with equanimity. Your life has genuinely moved forward. Don't re-engage if you're hoping to get a specific response. You're feeling lonely or desperate. You haven't worked on yourself in the interim. You can't imagine being okay with continued silence. The Stoic re-engagement formula. If you do reach out again, do it once, do it well, and do it without attachment to the outcome. Then, regardless of the response, let that be the final word unless they clearly indicate they want to continue the connection. Hope you're doing well. Simple, dignified, and complete in itself. Chapter 12, The Long-Term Perspective. Marcus Aurelius ruled the Roman Empire for 19 years. He understood that everything, power, relationships, even life itself, is temporary. This perspective is crucial when dealing with being ignored. The 10-year view. In 10 years, the person ignoring you now will likely be irrelevant to your life story. But how you handle this situation will shape your character for the next decade and beyond. The legacy question. What kind of person do you want to become through this experience? Someone who maintains dignity under pressure, grows stronger through adversity, learns to find fulfillment from within, becomes more attractive through self-mastery? Or someone who manipulates others for validation, becomes bitter and resentful, repeats the same patterns indefinitely? The Stoic choice. Every moment you're faced with this choice, choose wisely. Part 6. Integration and Action Steps. Chapter 13. Your 30-Day Stoic Challenge. Knowledge without application is worthless. Here's your 30-day challenge to integrate these Stoic principles. Week 1. Foundation. Practice the dichotomy of control daily. When you feel the urge to double text or chase someone, pause and redirect that energy. Start morning and evening reflection practices. Week 2. Energy redirection. Choose one area for self-improvement. Physical, intellectual, creative, social. Commit to it daily, regardless of what anyone else is doing. Notice how this affects your overall confidence. Week 3. Communication mastery. Practice the one-message rule in all your communications. Focus on quality over quantity in all relationships. Observe how people respond to your increased dignity. Week 4. Integration. Reflect on your growth over the past month. Notice areas where you still struggle with attachment to outcomes. Plan your continued development. Track your progress. But remember, the goal isn't to get a specific response from someone who ignored you. The goal is to become someone who doesn't need that response to feel complete. Conclusion and call to action. The ancient Stoics faced plagues, wars, political upheaval, and personal tragedies. They developed these principles not in comfortable academic settings, but in the harsh realities of life. Being ignored by someone you care about is painful, but it's also an opportunity to discover your own strength, to build unshakable confidence, and to become the kind of person who attracts healthy relationships naturally. Remember, you cannot control who responds to you, but you can control who you become in response to their silence. Your next steps. Start with the dichotomy of control. Channel your energy into self-improvement. Maintain your dignity in all communications. Focus on long-term character development over short-term validation. If this video helped you see being ignored from a new perspective, subscribe for more content on building inner strength and authentic confidence. Share your own experiences in the comments. We're all on this journey together. And remember, the strongest response to being ignored isn't to destroy someone else's ego. It's to build your own character, so strong that their silence becomes irrelevant to your peace. Until next time, stay strong, stay dignified, and stay stoic.